Hi everyone, it's Diane. Welcome back. Welcome, welcome. Happy Easter to all of you who celebrate. If you missed me last week, first of all, thank you. Because if you missed me, I'm pretty excited that somebody cared enough to think, oh, I'm going to go watch your video. And secondly, I apologize. I really thought that I would probably get a video done there around Easter, but preparing for Easter took up a lot of time, and then the week, so I didn't get to do a video ahead of time. And then that Monday after Easter, my schedule just kind of got thrown up in the air like a bunch of Scrabble tiles. So yeah, I didn't get to do one, but that's okay, because you know what? I almost feel like I was starting to lose some of my mojo there and not be able to come up with some new stuff. And then today, when I sat down to do the next stamp set in my shelf, Beautiful World, I had like 3 cards all at once running through my head. So maybe it's back. Maybe I'm thinking up some new stuff here. I hope you like it. So I don't have it put together, and actually, because I did have so many things going through my mind, I'm going to try to get through 2. And so I did do some heat embossing already off camera and die cut a couple things out, but we have a little bit more die cutting, I think, to do. Oh, before I get started, yeah, I was all excited. I got a card from Beth. Beth was one of the ladies who won my the craft supplies video that I offered when they commented on what kind of craft supplies they were in need of. And Beth and Sonia had responded, and so I sent them both out a package, and Beth made me a card. I can't believe it. I love it when I get cards. And it's nice to know that somebody's going to use those products. That's the whole thing, you know. I love sharing the extra stuff I have. Thanks, Beth. That was so exciting. When I first got the card, I was like, I know that name. Why do I know that name? And then when I opened it, I was like, oh, yeah. So thank you. I send cards. I don't always get cards. It's a little sad. All right. So, did anybody get their new Stampin'? I'm just, my disclaimer here, I'm not a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator any longer. I did used to be a demonstrator, so I have a lot of products, and that's what we're going through here. Try to clear the throat. We have gone from 80 degrees to 40 degrees, so, you know, just like everywhere, allergies and the weather are making a mess. What was I saying? Oh my goodness, I already don't even remember. I don't remember. Okay, so anyway, I picked up Beautiful World. That was next on the list. And oh, as a demonstrator, yeah, did you get your new catalog? That's where I was headed. Did you get a new catalog from there? Because I do still get Stampin' Up! Products, and I need to sell some of my sets that I have set aside because there are some new things that I would like to get, and I don't have room for any more. I'll have to share those with you guys one day. See if you want to buy any. I'll sell them cheap. So anywho, I was so excited because 2 of my most favorite colors are back. And one is Misty Moonlight. Yay! I still had Misty Moonlight because I bought a bunch of it before it was going to be retired because I just loved it. And the other one is Lemon Lime Twist. And if you have watched my videos, you know that when Parakeet Party came out, I was all excited because I was like, this is just like Lemon Lime Twist. And I even used some of the Lemon Lime Twist ribbon that I had left over with my Parakeet Party cards because they went together so well. Well, Lemon Lime Twist is coming back. Yahoo! Today, though, we're going to use some Misty Moonlight because I did still have ink and paper from that. I have used this set in the past. There were a lot of pieces that I hadn't used, so I took them out, and there's still some that I didn't use for today. This came with, in its suite, came with a die set. I got dies everywhere because we're going to use them, and cut out the world or just the globe itself, and it had a couple different little stands here, a feather. I haven't used any of these little scrollies. We're going to use that, I think. And it also came with designer series paper, which I still have a little bit pieces left from that. That was World of Good Specialty Designer Series paper, and it was a specialty paper because it had foil in it. You know, the shiny golds. When they put, you know, the shiny stuff or vellum or flocking or something, it becomes a specialty paper. And that coordinated nicely with the copper metallic paper. So if you have like copper foil paper, that'll work great. So what I've already done ahead of time, I took a piece of Misty Moonlight, an 8.5 by 11 sheet of cardstock, and I cut it in half and then scored down the center, folded it with a 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch card base, our normal. And then I took a piece of my foil paper and cut that to 4 1/8 by 5 3/8, which is going to just give me the teeniest tiny little blue border around it. But that's okay that it's very teeny tiny because some of our accent pieces are on Misty Moonlight, and so that's just going to bring it out a little bit more. Then I have a piece of basic white, and this is 3 3/4 inches by 5. We're going to make a background here for our world, and I cut 2 of these in case I messed it up when I was embossing. I did heat emboss this. I have still some of the copper embossing powder. I don't know if copper's still available through there, but you can get copper powder. And we're going to put that onto our little globe base that I cut out of the same foil, just using the die. So I'll glue that onto there. And then I chose Life's a Beautiful Journey. I used that stamp and I heat embossed it just in white embossing powder. And if you haven't seen how to heat emboss, or you're not sure how to, we do have some other videos. I'm sure there are plenty of videos in my recordings here that I have heat embossed. And so I stamped my stamps with Versamark ink, which is a clear sticky ink. Stamped it onto my cardstock. Oh, I did use my anti-static, my little embossing buddy, and wiped my cardstock off first. That just helps keep your embossing powder from sticking to the paper where you don't want it to stick. So if you've touched your paper and you have oils from your hands on the paper, your embossing powder could stick to that. So if you wipe over it with your anti-static powder, stamp your image with a Versamark, sprinkle your powder on, and then heat it with your heat tool. The powder will melt and you'll have a nice embossed image. That was the other thing. I didn't really want to have to blast you with the heat tool because it's noisy. And I also just saved us about 10 minutes in heat embossing all this stuff. Okay, so we need to do some pretty on the background. And one die that I never used was this oddball looking thing. So we're going to use that today. I guess it's going to go. Well, I guess it doesn't matter which way it goes. But I want to cut this on the white after we make our pretties on it. And then when we layer it up on our copper paper, the copper is going to shine through the little die cut pieces in the back. Hope that all works out because I haven't tried that one. I have another one on the next card I haven't tried either. So, all right, Misty Moonlight ink, oh goodness, and a blending brush, one of my favorite tools. I love to ink blend. I'm going to add some splatter. I don't have a Misty Moonlight marker, but I do have Night of Navy. And which one did I try? Starry Sky. Come here, Starry Sky. Maybe Starry Sky doesn't want to be used. I don't know. And I splattered both of them on my paper to see which one might look better with Misty Moonlight, and I really can't tell a difference. Just by, you know, the splatter is so subtle that it's not really going to matter. So I want to add a little bit of blue to my background because we're using blue cardstock. And I'm going to start off of the edge of my cardstock so that I don't get swirly marks on my background paper. This is actually going to be my bottom, but I'm going to start down here because it's just easier for me to blend down, even though I know that's going to be the bottom of my card. Just using a light touch. Remember, you can keep adding more ink, but once it's on there, it's on there. You're not going to take it off. Get a little bit more along my edges here because I like a bit of a darker edge. Yeah, so last week, geez, what all happened? You know, I dog sit my older son's dogs during the week. Well, my younger son also has a couple of pups. And I think I told you his one dog had some surgery to have a cancerous tumor removed from her leg. And she didn't want to leave that leg alone. You know, she just keeps on picking at it so that they have actually had to close it up, I think, 3 times. So she had to be babysat 24/7. I mean, they would go to sleep and she would try to pull the staples out. So he had to go away on a business trip, and my daughter-in-law was working, so he needed me to keep the little troublemaker dog so she didn't rip her leg open again. And so I had them last week instead of my normal 2. Okay, I think that's pretty. I think I'm not going to go any darker than that. Oh, there we go. Now I'm going to give it a little spritz of water just to make some interesting marks in my background. Not too wet because this isn't watercolor paper. This is just cardstock. And I'm sure you have seen this used with distress inks, but it does work with our Stampin' Up! Pigment ink as well. Oh, this is just a water-based dye, so I don't know if you can see the little spots that it makes on there. It just makes some little pretty droplets. I like that. If you don't like this design that it makes, don't do that part. Okay. And then I want to use my my marker to add some splatter. I kind of want it to dry. Yeah, so Dixie was here, well, and her brother Toby. I kept them both because of my son being out of town. And so they were here last week. And then Hubby had a doctor appointment. And what else happened? Something else last week. I don't know. But anyway, certainly wasn't going to be time to come up in my craft room. I did take some of my journal tags and stuff downstairs to work on, which was kind of good. I needed to get caught up on that and my stitching. Okay, so now I'm going to take the brush end of my pen, and from the inside of my cap, I'm just going to flicker some color onto my background. And that's it. I'm not going to overdo it. Just a nice, subtle background, but it gave it a little bit more design in there. Okay. So far, so good. There's my wood table. Now I want to cut that little section out over here so that my metallic paper will shine through when I layer it up. And this is the part that I haven't used before, so fingers crossed, everybody. Trying to make sure it looks a little bit straight. And then I gotta tell you, I went Saturday. Excuse me. Oh, come on, be straight. Just a little bit straight would be nice along the edge there. Okay. So Saturday then I stopped at, we have a local thrift store, and I like to go there once in a while. I look for the old primers, you know, the old Dick and Jane books, because I love the illustrations out of them to use in, you know, I ought to do that 2 times just to make sure. Since I haven't used this one, I don't know how it's going to cut. Anywho, I love the illustrations that are there to use on some of my journal stuff. And one of my journals that I'm hoping to do is a school days one. So I've been working on making tags and stuff with those pictures. So anyways, I stopped at this thrift store. I know they have a lot of books. And it happens to be where I used to go to elementary school. So what I did not know, I'm going to make kind of a funky little edge there, was that in the one back section, I must just never have paid attention when I've gone in there and looked before. Sometimes I find old threads too that I can use in my sewing, pieces of lace, stuff like that. Yeah, so it's a fun place for me to shop. I like going there. Well, for some reason, the open door caught my eye and a little sign that there was furniture and stuff more in the back of the building, which again I said was my old grade school. And I've been curious to go through it for a long time anyway. We used to have in the cafeteria nursery rhymes done in mosaic tile around the top of the cafeteria. I loved it. And I really would like to see it again. So when I saw, I'm just going to cut that little piece. Yeah, I guess so. Kind of. I might trim that. I don't know if I like that, how it left a little raggedy edge. Yeah, I guess it's okay. When I saw that you could go in the back, I just figured I'm just going to go look back there, which I found another room of books. So that was kind of a good thing. But as I walked down the hall and I went to this one room and I stepped in, and I don't even remember what was in there. The floor was cushiony. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is my kindergarten room. It was my kindergarten room. The little cubby holes with the tiny coat hooks were still there. There's a little restroom with a toilet so small I can't even imagine how that teacher took care of so many kids, getting them to and from the restroom and helping them when they needed it. I hope she had a helper. I remember Mrs. McConnell, but I don't know that she had a helper. So, you know, I don't think we give our teachers enough credit there. Yeah. But I got so sad. I don't know what happened. I just got so sad because I guess it was nostalgia. Not really sad, but boy, I just felt so melancholy the rest of the day. I don't know. But I want to go back. I want to go see if the cafeteria still has that tile up there. They had made that school, actually they made it into a Salvation Army. And so the one side is a thrift store. I'm going to make sure my glue bottle's not goobered up. Oh, it is plugged again. And the other side is their worship center or church or whatever it is. And they had built a new front onto it so that it does look more like a church. And I think that's where I would want to go to see the cafeteria stuff. And that's the part that was blocked off. Yeah. So I don't know. Next time, if I ask them, maybe, no, would they take me back and just let me have a peek? Or would I start to cry? I don't know. So the stamp set comes with actually 2 globes. The Western Hemisphere and the Eastern Hemisphere. I use the Western Hemisphere with North and South America on it. Use whichever side you like. And just glue the little stand on the bottom. I wonder if I should have tilted it like a real globe. Oh well. I'm going to screw it up now. I'm using foil and embossing powder there. You know, when you get glue sometimes on foil, it leaves it caca looking. Oh, well, I guess that didn't want to stick yet. That's better. Okay, set that there to dry. This is going to go on here so that our copper shines through the, oh, that's kind of pretty. Yeah, like that. I think I'll use a liquid glue on this because we are adhering this to foil paper. I'm still contemplating if I want to trim this because I don't like those edges. I'm just going to trim it a little bit. Nobody says it has to be exactly 3 3/4 by 5, right? Right. And I'm only going to take the slightest little bit off of there. I don't really know how you would go about doing that without having a rough edge. Oh, that worked. So then yesterday, excuse me, which was Sunday for me, I'm doing my video on Monday morning. I think that's better. I think it is. We went to, I went with my nephew's wife and we went to a Master Gardener class on growing loofahs. Okay. Yeah, you know, loofahs don't come from the ocean. Did you know that? Because none of us did. I was so happy when somebody's like, oh, I thought they came from the ocean. I was like, oh, thank goodness I'm not the only one. So, yeah, we went to that and they actually grow like a gourd or a cucumber. So we had a little class on, you know, your soil conditions and how to grow them and how big they're going to get and then when to harvest them and how to dry them. And everybody got a little pack of seeds. I'm squishing glue out there and I don't want to because it'll be yucky. So that was a really nice afternoon. Okay, now let's get some foam dimensionals here, big ones and small ones. Because we're going to put our little globe sticky. Do I want it on this side or this way? I think that way. Oh, yeah, I forgot I took this out. Oh, I was going to do that before I glued it on there. I might be able to do it without making a mess. I'm not sure. This is a little compass stamp that was included in this Beautiful World stamp set. And if I have my inside, let's see, 4, 5 1/4, that'll work. Put a couple of these on the inside, and then while I'm at it, oops, scrap paper, yeah. I can stamp my inside message. So on my outside says, life's a beautiful journey. And on my inside, I want to have, thank you for being a part of mine. I know I'm not done with the front, but while I have this out, okay. Now, where was I? Putting the globe on. Trying to decide, I guess I'm going to pop that up too. I wasn't quite sure if I wanted it glued flat or if I want to move it up. Guess I should have put this on my card base. That's what I'm thinking. Oh, and this label. So here's another example of kind of paying attention to what you have. These labels I use so much. And these are from a Happy Hippo. Hippo and Friend dies. Now, who would have thought that a Hippo stamp set would come in so handy for me? But these dies have 3 sets of labels. I use these all the time. All the time. I love them. Different sizes, nesting, so you can make, you could die cut out of white and then layer a darker color in the background. So check through your dies. Even if they're to a monkey set or whatever, there could be a label or a shape in there that you could use for a label die. Use it if you got it, right? Okay. Now, I don't think I want to use liquid glue on the back of the foil because I think, if I remember correctly, when I use liquid glue back there, it leaves little marks in the foil. So, let's just use do I have tape runner? This would be nice to use for a graduation card because it has a sentiment on here. Adventure awaits. This would be a really nice graduation card. Life's a beautiful journey. Adventure awaits. That'd be great. This would be nice for a birthday card. It's not too flowery. So if you want something a little bit more masculine, if I may use the word. I just happen to have some. I was sorting out my little leftover bling blings and putting them away. Ooh. I don't really have to add these, but maybe that's what this one's trying to tell me. Oh, don't stick me down, please. Just twist it a little bit. There we go. A little more. A little more. Oh, and our card workshop. Oh, I meant to look that up. Yep, the weather's getting nicer now, so now we're having some scheduling discussions because we're having a hard time getting a day where everybody's available. But we may even stop meeting through the summer. That's something we're going to have to discuss when we meet the next time. If the ladies want to keep getting together or hold off until the fall. That might be easiest. So let me see. I think the last discussion we had was May the 3rd at 11:30. Yeah, so if you didn't catch my text or my reminder, and I'll send out another one, that's when we're working towards, May the 3rd at 11:30. Okay, so here's card number 1. Not bad, half an hour. If I quit jabbering away, I can get through a second one real quick. I like that. Yeah. Second one, I wanted to use, now cinnamon cider is a retired color and it's not one that came back. So if you don't have cinnamon cider to match this, you can use crumb cake, and I think soft suede also works. This one, we're going to let the designer series paper do some of the work for us. I'm not making a background. I'm going to add, make sure my words are right side up because they are legible. This is the part we're going to decorate right here a little bit. And this one, I'm not necessarily going to add a greeting on this because I want this to write a note. So there's a little ink well, and there is this die. And I didn't really know what this die did, so I did it on a piece of scrap paper. And what it does is it embosses the paper. Here, can you see that? It doesn't really die cut through it. It just does this really cool emboss. So I think I need to stamp my inkwell first, because if I do the die and then I try to stamp my ink, it's not going to stamp evenly. And then I took the feather, and I also used Versamark, and I stamped it onto a piece of vellum and heat embossed with white embossing powder. And then I just took scissors and snipped the edges a little bit and, whoops, it's not rip it. And then kind of just picked them up so it looks a little bit more feathery. Again, that's not a look that you like, don't do it. Pretty easy. Although if I just do that and don't have a greeting on there, it looks naked, right? So what am I going to put on there? Let's see. Go to one of my trusty sentiment stamps. Kind of want one that says like I miss you or thinking of you. There we go. Oh, falling off my pillow. Got my cushion on my chair here sliding all over. Oh, jeez. Did I like get weak or what? What's going on with these ink pads? All right, don't lose that. Oh, this is my cap for my glue. I left my pin in there, goofball. Yeah, so when I started working on this, that needs to stand out a little bit more on there. It's going to blend in. So let's just put a piece. Do I have another piece of cinnamon cider? I'm telling you, I have like a half a sheet of cardstock from cinnamon cider left. That's about it. Oh, no, there's a couple more scraps. Because these were some that I had messed up on. Good. Maybe I can cut just a little bit of a border. Because I didn't really measure this piece of white. This was just a scrap piece of white that I had here. And I thought it looked about the right size. I know. People don't always like to hear that, right? You like to have measurements. All right, hold on. I tend to say, oh, that looks about right. Okay, so this was 3.5 by, oh, I'm lying. Gosh, look at that. Let's go with 2.5. This is a 2. 2.5 by 3.25. And so this was then 2 3/4 by 3.5. And that'll work. See, sometimes when you're using your scrappy bits, though, you gotta improvise a little bit, right? Okay. I'm here, thinking of you. Where are you? You. All my little polymer stamps fell out of there. Didn't it say thinking of you? Yeah. Where is it? Well, what in the world? I don't have all day. Oh, there it is. Good Lord. There. Blind as a bat, I'm telling you. Blind as a bat. If one thing falls, it's all going to go. love it when it's stamped straight, or at least reasonably straight. Now where's my little ink well? Oh, that's a pretty big block for a tiny little stamp. You know, the problem with doing that is you can easily get ink on your acrylic block and smudgy it. Maybe where you don't want it to smudgy. So if I put this here, and then my feather could go that way. I don't know. Oh, and I did that one crooked. That's okay. I have an idea. Oh, and we're gonna, yeah, I almost forgot. My little die. But before I do that, let's just add a little bit of, oh, not that big brush, good Lord. Let's just add a little bit of shading under that ink well so that it doesn't look like it's floating in midair. I don't really feel like ripping my fingernails off. Good grief. And if you're not used to getting ink on a brush from your ink pad, just squeeze the lid to the ink pad and get a little bit of the ink in your lid, and then you can use a water brush or just a paintbrush dipped in water. Water in there, and now you have some watercolor paint. I'm just going to make a little bit of a shadow here. That's it. Fort Pitt. Clean your brush off. If you so desire, you can wipe your lid out of your stamp pad. Close her up. Oh, this one really is tight. Okay, now let's find that die. And where do I want it to go? Down here, maybe? Kind of pretty. I'm trying to decide if I want to do it again. Oh, where'd my die go? I hear you. Do I want to do it a second time? Why not? Why not? Oh yeah, I like it. I like it. Okay. Let's get this little sucker out of the way. Put this back in with my dies so I don't lose it. I have to do another one because I want to use these swirlies. Not today. Not on here. Oh, yeah. There. And now we can put this all together. And like I said, this one is a card that I just want to be able to write a note in. I don't want to stamp anything necessarily on the inside. centered up. Add some pretty paper on the side. Put this one onto our little mat that had oddball dimensions, just because it was a scrap. Sorry, I'm probably off camera down there. I'm just trying to make it look reasonably centered. I hear my old girl down there moving around. I have to go check on her. It still is. Yes, I like it. Oh yes, I hear puppies moving around now. Grandma, where are you? They're so funny. They get so attached, just like kids. I'm telling you. Okay. And then we can, where's my little tiny, where I put those little, put one of these up here. Since I embossed it in white, it doesn't look, you can't really see the foam dimensional, that thing, yep. Okay, so let's glue the bottom piece down. And let the top part of the feather, come on, off, thank you. Come on, I said glue the bottom piece down. Oh. Cap on. And there it is. Oh, that's cute too. I like it. Could have put that on there a little straighter. Jeez. Oh, don't rip paper. No ripping. No ripping. Here you coming off. Let's just tilt you up a little bit more. Oh, come on, you can do it. See, was that enough? I think it is. Yes. Good, good, good. Maybe my thinking of you was a little more crooked than I thought. That's okay. It still came out good. I lost my other card. There it is. And so there we are. 2 cards today using Beautiful World off of my bookshelf in the A to Z project. And then next one is Weather Together. I never used this. I know I bought this secondhand, but I never used it. This is adorable. Okay, that's up next. Here you go, guys. Go make a card. Send it to somebody. Make them smile. Look how happy I was when I got my one from Beth. Thanks, Beth, again. You guys rock. Have a great week. I'll talk to you all later. Bye.